and welcome to Ruchi's Town. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you about pollen allergy or hay fever. Does it sound a little new to you or something that you have never heard? Welcome to USA. So here this is quite common. The hay fever or this pollen allergy. Fever is not like high temperature and stuff like that. It's just that the pollen which comes out of the trees like oak tree, maple tree, pine tree and all, especially during the month of April, May and June, when the leaves are coming out of the trees and all, it spreads everywhere in the air. The pollen, there's a lot of pollen and it spreads everywhere in the air, and during this time what happens is it gets into your nostrils and it'll kind of create a allergy in your body. So allergy is not like anything on the skin or anything, but we will be sneezing, coughing, some will have itchy eyes, some will have watering eyes, watery nose. So it's not cold, okay? When you're sneezing and all, it's not because of the cold, it's because of the allergy that your body is sneezing, and you will face a lot of discomfort during these 30 to 40 days of this season. So like that, when you come first time from India or any other country, you might not really face this because your body will have some good immunity, but the next year, following year, you will kind of face it. That's what I've heard from many, and this is what has happened to me also. When I stayed in India for a longer time and I come during this season, it wouldn't affect me that time, but the next season it will affect. When I came from Germany to USA, that time it didn't affect me for a year, then it started affecting me. So that way, and not everyone will get it, okay? In my house, not everyone has it. I have it, not like everyone, and there'll be itchy throat. The throat will be itching and you feel like making it relax or drinking something quite often. And one more thing that happens is the nostrils, the nose will become so dry that the air will pass through your nose freely without kind of a filtration, is what I would say. That would really affect your breath. You just cannot understand what exactly is happening. So all these are symptoms of hay fever or pollen allergy. You might not have all the symptoms. Some people will have few of them, some people will have another few of them, some people will have everything. So this is what it is, and during this time you will not be even able to drive. Some of them will not be able to drive because the eyes will be itching and watering continuously, or there will be intense sneezing. So during that time you cannot even drive. You will get to know how much of pollen is there in the air through app allergy.com or these apps will be there from many of the companies. So if you set your particular location, it will show what is the pollen level. Is it high, is it medium, it is low. So if it is high, you know that you're going to have severe symptoms, you cannot even step out, and that really works, okay? Every time it happens that I know that it really works, and I wouldn't even step out. That's what I would do. So you could go to your doctor, and usually what happens is every year you will have to change your medication, because 1 year whatever medicine is given will not really work on your body for the next year. For many of them it is like that. The same medicines will not work. So for some of them it might work. If it is not working, your body is getting immune to it and you will have to change your medication. Many times people take antihistamine on the counter medicines. That really helps. There are nasal sprays. You put sprays on both your nostrils and it will kind of reduce all the water, dry up all the water, so that you will not sneeze and your eyes doesn't burn and water. So these are some things that are done. And one more main thing that you could kind of do for this is do some yoga. Basically breathing exercise. If you practice that every morning and evening, if it's possible, or every day in the morning if it's possible, that really helps in reducing this pollen allergy. This is there in India also, okay? Wherever I lived in India, in Bangalore, I know we have a lot of trees around, and that affects, and it doesn't affect this badly, okay? For some of them it does affect badly, not for everyone. So if you see that nowadays if they go to the doctor, they find that out that it is pollen allergy. Many think it is dust allergy, okay? Even pollen is a type of a dust, okay, of course, but it is pollen allergy because it comes only during those 2 months majorly. So you could even there they give nasal sprays, what I have seen. So I want to share this information with you. If you are coming to the US newly and if you are having these symptoms during this time, don't get alerted. It is quite common, and do these kind of stuff and it will really help you out. Come, let's get into the video and see our recipe.
This is a two-step process, chicken marinated biryani. So usually if you're doing a party or something like that, you could make all the marination ready, and just half an hour or 45 minutes before the party actually starts, you can keep this on the stove, and the biryani will be ready by the time the party starts. So something like that. So I'm taking chicken. This is about 250 to 300 grams of chicken, and I'm going to put all the marination. We will start with some haldi, that is turmeric powder. So I'm going to add some turmeric powder with this, and coat it well. So depending upon the quantity, you could adjust the spices. The chili powder should be more, and dhania powder should be less. Now I squeezed in some lemon juice, and then now I'm adding some chili powder. This is about 2 teaspoons of chili powder is what I've added, and about one teaspoon of coriander powder, and half teaspoon of garam masala powder. Depending upon the amount of chicken you have taken, increase your spice quantity also. Now I'm adding salt with this. So add the right quantity of salt and spices that would be required for the biryani. And I have taken fried onions. This is store bought fried onions. This will be more like a crushed pakoda, so it will be really crispy. So I'm taking like 2-3 tablespoons of it, and I'm going to mix with this marination. Along with that, I'm going to add some oil. This is groundnut oil that I'm adding. So once this is done, I'm going to mix it all together so that the spices blend into the chicken really well. And I have added some ginger garlic paste also right before this. So I'm going to put everything together and blend it well by my hand. Finally, I will take some 2-3 tablespoons of yogurt and mix it as well. This is final so that it coats, gives a nice coating on the chicken. And I'll keep this aside for about 1 hour. So this particular day when I did, I kept it only for 1 hour. But if you have time, you could keep it for 2 to 3 hours, and the spices will get absorbed by the chicken really well. Close it and keep it aside. So you don't have to keep it in the refrigerator also if you are keeping it for just like a short time. If it's for a longer time, definitely refrigerate it, because it's chicken and it's not good to keep out for a very long time. Now I've closed the lid and kept it aside. So you could do whatever work you have, or if you're doing any other dishes, you could do during this time. So by then your marinated chicken will be ready. So when we are actually starting to cook, we will take I have taken about 2 cups of rice. That is equal amount of rice, about 250 to 300 grams of rice I have taken, and I have soaked it and kept it aside. That is basmati rice. So in a big vessel, I have taken water and added a lot of salt to it. When you taste the water, it should be salty. With that, I'm adding some whole garam masala, bay leaves, star anise, cinnamon, cloves, elaichi. So if I'm taking 1 cup of rice, I'll put 1 elaichi. If it is more, I'll put like 2 cups, means 2 cups of 2 elaichi is what I put. That's how I kind of calculate. Along with that, I would be putting some black pepper. So black pepper, whole black pepper is what I'm going to add. It's going to give some spice to the rice that we are cooking. So you could also add 1 chili also to it, at least 1 or 2 green chilies. Don't put a lot of green chilies. The rice would become really strong. And after the black peppers, I'm going to add some jeera, that is cumin seeds. Don't add fennel seeds to this. Add only cumin seeds. If you add fennel seeds, for some reason the fennel seeds that we get here in the US releases color, and it becomes really yellow in color. The rice becomes yellow color, so I don't put it. And add some butter or some oil to this water and let it boil. Let this mixture come to a boil. Only if this water is nice and flavorful, your rice also will be flavorful. The water has to be salty so that there is enough salt in the rice salt. Now I'll make some cucumber raita ready. So for cucumber raita, I'll just cut the cucumber, put some salt, yogurt and green chili into it. If I have coriander leaves, I'll add that. If not, I'll just leave it like that. Today I'll be adding some cumin powder with this. So plan your time in the kitchen wisely. so that you do the cooking part first, and all these kind of salads and other cutting stuff later. Finally, during the biryani is getting cooked, you could finish off all your cleaning and stuff like that, so that within that 40 minutes to 30 to 40 minutes, you will finish off all the work in the kitchen. If you watch my videos, you know that I regularly put potato in my biryani. It has become like a practice. We don't make biryani without potatoes at all. So I have chopped the potatoes and kept it. And the rice has been soaking for about 20 minutes now. I'm going to remove the excess water from the rice, soaked rice, and then I'm going to put that rice into this boiling water. So the water started boiling. I'm going to add that, removing all the excess water. So when you're making this rice, please make sure you are there around the stove only. Don't leave the rice and go away, because this rice will get cooked really fast. It would take hardly 5 minutes time for the rice to get cooked. Between 5 to 7 minutes time, depending upon the quantity, it would get cooked, and you have to be there to make sure the rice is removed from the stove at the right time. The rice has to be done only around 75%. Okay, you don't have to cook the rice completely in this water. So the rest of the 25% will be cooked in the dum when you put it on the chicken and close it. So to check if it is done or not, take one grain and cut it into half. It should not kind of break into two pieces like a rice. It has to get smashed. Okay, the smashing also should be a little hard and not like it should not get smashed like the rice that we usually eat with sambar and all. So that's how it should be. If you overcook it, if once you put it for the dum, it will become soggy. It will not come grainy. Okay, and in the other stove, I have kept a large pan and adding some oil. Along with that, I'm going to put some fennel seeds. So usually in one of the other type of biryani that I have showed, I usually cook the chicken first, fry the onions, cook the chicken for some time, and then put this cooked rice into it and put dum. But here in this process, I am going to put the chicken that is marinated on this in this oil, and put the cooked rice on top of it immediately. I don't let the chicken cook separately and then put dum. So I'm going to spread this marinated chicken well. So if possible, you could even taste this and see once, so that the spice level is good, the salt and the chili is in a right quantity. Many people do not like to taste it, but I usually taste it to make sure it's in the right quantity. Because at the end product, you're going to get the taste. Because if the salt is less, it's not, the biryani is not going to taste good. Okay, so I have laid the chicken. So I felt that I need to put some salt, so I added some salt on the chicken right now. And I had some green chilies that was left out. If you have enough green chilies, you can put, but I had, that was the last green chili that I had. I added that right now, and I'm going to spread it all evenly so that it is touching, the chicken is touching the pan as much as possible. Okay, then I'm going to put the potatoes that I had cut and kept. I'm making sure that the rice is done, so I will not leave it without checking, because so if you cook the rice a minute more and if it becomes soft, your biryani will not turn out well. Now that I have layered the potatoes, once this rice is done, I'm going to put it directly from this water onto the stove, or if you want, you can even drain it and put it. There you go. Along with all the whole spices, I'm going to put it there. So what happens is, this is going to save you some time, I would say. Like you have done the marination and kept, and then what you do, you keep the pan, pour your oil, marinated chicken and the cooked rice, and close it for 30 minutes, and your chicken biryani will be completely done. So I put all the rice, cooked rice on it, and I spread it so that it's even on all the sides. Fried onions will give a nice flavor to the biryani. If you don't have a store-bought fried onions, you could fry the onions in the oil all by yourself. Make it crispy and use it immediately. Even if it is not becoming really crispy, that is fine, as long as it is like turning brown. Put it into the biryani. So I have layered that. Next thing is I'm going to add some garam masala powder. So when you put the garam masala powder here on this, a nice flavor, the flavor of the garam masala will get into the rice well, and it tastes really good. If you have not done that in the past for the dum biryani, try that out and it really tastes good. And I have taken half a cup of ghee. I'm going to add the ghee all over the biryani. When you add ghee to the biryani at the last, you see that it gives a very good flavor, and it gives you the flavor of what you get in the restaurants. So they basically add butter or ghee at the last, so that flavor you get. And for this I'm going to put some color, so you could skip this completely. I am going to add some orange color. I am taking some milk and adding color into it, and I'm going to spread that. So if you want, you could even put turmeric, or if you have the kesar, you can put the kesar in it. Don't put the color directly on the rice. You have to always mix it with milk so that it spreads evenly. If not, it will become lumpy and it will stay in one side. And don't spread the color also on all the sides. I usually put it like a plus sign, so that only the rice and that area will be colored. The other places it will still be white in color. So that way it is a blend of all the colors. Wherever it touches the biryani marination, it will be brown. This will be orange and then white. So it will all be a combination, and it will look good also. If you have pudina and coriander, you can add it at this point in time. You could sprinkle it on the top and leave it. So even if you are doing a lot of biryani, put all the chicken in the bottom and then the rice. You don't have to layer it like first chicken, then rice, then chicken, then rice. Okay, just put all the chicken at the bottom and rice in the top. If you see in the restaurants, that's how they do it. If they are doing in the bulk, that's how they do it. They don't put like 2-3 layers. So now you close it and keep it in the medium flame for 10 minutes. And once the 10 minutes is done, then you take this and put it on a tawa, on an old tawa basically, for another 20 minutes. So 10 minutes is done. So I'm taking it and putting on the old tawa that I don't use for cooking. And now you have to keep it in a low flame for 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, if it is frozen chicken, 15 minutes is enough. So like this we are going to leave it for 20 minutes, and after that if you open it, your biryani will be all ready. The chicken will be cooked well, and it doesn't even stick to the pan so much. It will be nice roasted there at the down, but it will not like stick to the pan. So I had some frozen coriander which I've added on top of that. In my house, if I have to do anything really fast, then it will be biryani. If I don't have much time, I have to do some meal, I'll end up doing biryani, because this is like a one pot meal or a easy recipe for me, where I do all the marination and keep it, and the biryani will be ready, and in the meantime I'll be doing some other work of mine. So that's how it usually goes. For many of them, doing biryani is like a feast. It's like big task. For me, overall cooking is easier, and biryani as such is one of the easiest that I could do. If you're making this, your marination should not be too watery. The yogurt that you put should not be like water. Okay, that has to be thick for the biryani to absorb all the moisture and it to be grainy. So if you see, this is really grainy. After tiresome yard work in the garden, some nice spicy biryani and watching some comedy on the TV, and it was a perfect day. What else do we need? That too on a weekday. So if you like this recipe, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Ruchi's Town. Thank you.